is Chris Campbell, and I welcome you to the City of Southfield general election coverage. We're here on a brisk and cool night in November, and we're here in Council Chamber, and as the votes are being tallied and counted, we are awaiting the results of the Southfield general election, in which the offices of Mayor, City Council, Treasurer, and Clerk will be determined by you, the voters. Now, just to paint a brief overview of this year's election, running unopposed in the City of Southfield election is Mayor Ken Siver and City Treasurer Irv Lowenberg. Now, where the race heats up is with City Council and City Clerk. For the office of City Council, there are 8 candidates vying for 4 council seats. 3 of those council seats carry 4-year terms, and the last one, the 4th, carries a 2-year term. And the candidates are as follows: Myron Frazier, Michael Ari Mandelbaum, Lloyd Cruz, Lenny Taylor, Sarah Abo, Harold Hill, Coretta Hogue, and Nathaniel Lewis Jr. Those 8 candidates are vying for those 4 council seats. And we're going to find out who gets and who wins those council seats very shortly. And then for the office of City Clerk, now keep in mind that longtime City Clerk Nancy Banks, who has held that office for several decades, is retiring. And so a new batch of City Clerk candidates have stepped to the fore, and they include Tarita Darden, Derek Hale, and Sharika Hawkins. Those 3 are vying for the office of City Clerk. So we've got some exciting election results that we are awaiting. Now, in addition to that, we will be presenting during the course of tonight's program other issues and concerns and happenings that have been going on in the city of Southfield, whether it's road updates, some of the business development happening around the city, and also some grand openings that you've probably seen on our 15 News. We're going to be recapping some of those great events that have been happening over the last couple months, and then we'll be actually going out into the streets, getting word on the street interviews, getting thoughts and perspectives from the voters on what they feel some of the main issues and concerns in the city of Southfield are, and in what direction the city should. We've got a great night in store for you of all Southfield-related fare, Southfield-related news materials. Now, to get us into our first clip, and you may have seen this just recently, it has to do with the Southfield Fire Department. As you know, the Southfield Fire Department and public safety staff, which also includes the police department, are some of the most responsive in the state. And the Southfield Fire Department recently held an open house to commemorate its 75th year anniversary and to share useful information about fire safety in the community. We're going to cut away to that particular story and recap that before coming back. Once again, we are broadcasting live from the City of Southfield chambers here at the Southfield general election. We are awaiting election results, but in the meantime, we're going to focus on some of the things in Southfield that have caught your fancy over the last couple of months. We'll cut to the Southfield Fire.
It was an afternoon of food, fun, and education as the Southfield Fire Department held an open house to commemorate its 75th anniversary and share useful information about fire safety. Dozens gathered at the main fire headquarters to take part in hands-on activities for children, live fire service demonstrations, and various other fun and informational interactive games for the family.
Today is our open house. We're celebrating our 75th anniversary of providing great service to this city, and we wanted to come out and reach out to the community and let them know we do a lot more than just put out fires and go on medical calls. Today you'll see a lot of great stuff. You'll see people hanging from ropes in our rope rescue. You'll see live fire demonstrations. You're going to see extrications. We're going to cut up cars for you. The kids will get a chance to hold a real fire hose. And if they also want, we're throwing some cotton candy and some popcorn.
Johnny Menifee, the recently installed Southfield Fire Chief, had been looking for ways to spur community outreach and awareness regarding what the fire department does, and felt that reinstituting periodic open house events would accomplish those objectives.
We haven't had an open house in quite a while. I thought it was very important. One of the things that, as the new chief, I wanted to bring back was the open house. I'm very passionate about community outreach and giving back, and this is one way that we can show the community what their fire department is doing day in and day out.
Many factors have led to a decline in the numbers of fire service personnel in recent years, so Chief Menifee hopes that the fire department open house stirs interest and curiosity in the younger generation to take an interest in firefighting and make it a career goal.
Since about '07, the fire service has, the number of eligible applicants have really gone down. And what we're trying to do now is to also show people, educate them about the fire service, and get more individuals involved in the fire service. The Southfield Fire Department, actually, we have sponsored 5 young men that actually go to the fire academy right now. So we give them fire gear, we help them and pay for the SCBA, and it actually gives them a break on the tuition. But also lets them know about the fire service and see if this is a career that they want to get involved in.
Event attendees and family groups were excited over the organizational structure of the event and its ability to combine educational demonstrations with fun-filled activities.
I just thought it was terribly interesting. I think if you were a little kid especially, this would be just wonderful. They had treats and food, and they had all of these, the hoses with the houses are just charming, and the demonstrations were excellent. It was well run and it was well organized. It was really a delight. And the residents, any number of them, I heard the parents were so delighted that all of this was free.
I came here today with my 4-year-old and my 2-year-old, and they were all excited to see fire trucks because, of course, that's what that age loves. It was really fun. They all got fire hats, and we got to see the presentation.
I love this event. I love seeing the kids coming out to experience new things. I think they should do this every year.
Just continue this each year. It's just a real crowd pleaser and something special for the residents of Southfield. I mean, we're very proud of our Southfield Fire Department. Excellent.
Chief Menifee sees a major takeaway from the event being that residents are made more aware that there is much more to the city's fire department than EMS services or putting out fires, but rather a full range of technical disciplines that benefit the community.
The Southfield Fire Department continuously trains every day. We average about 4 hours of training every day. Like I said, the fire department does so much more than just fire and EMS. We have all our technical rescue training, which is rope rescue, our trench rescue, our confined space. We have extrication. We're doing water rescue. There are so many different facets that we are able to do. We also provide free CPR training, car seat installations for new babies by appointment. We have our smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector program. These are just a few for us to try to help once again, to get out in the community and help our citizens. But we are definitely one that believes in safety, believes in training, and we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that we're ready to support you.
To learn more about the Southfield Fire Department, visit cityofsouthfield.com. The most recent election afforded residents the opportunity to have their voice heard through their participation in the voting process. Southfield Multimedia Services recently conducted Word on the Street interviews to tap into the pulse of what area voters are feeling regarding pressing issues in the community.
It is always important. I think it's probably a little bit more important this election season because if you don't, you get stuck with what people who are more adamant go out and vote for, and that may not be what you want to happen. If you don't make your voice known, you don't get to say what happens. Extremely concerned nationwide for chaos theory, actually. And I have to also say that locally I feel so much more secure, and I honestly think that in order to straighten things out nationally, we have to be more involved locally. I think that's where it starts. I have lived in Southfield my entire life. I have never been unhappy to live here. I feel like it's a wonderfully diverse community. I feel like the mayor and the city council do due diligence very well. I honestly feel like the elected officials have our best interests in heart, which I cannot say about the nation.
It's important for people, the people of Southfield to get out and vote because Anything that the people have to that the folks are concerned about, they'll be able to ask the candidates what they can do to ensure that the job is going to get done, such as the roads, transportation, safety, any type of any violence that can be coming from the outside of Southfield into the city to make sure that that people won't be afraid to come out, regardless if it's during work or after work. The most important thing I would like to see in Southfield are the roads. Everything in the city is perfect. The police department, the fire department, the city resources, as well as the beautiful Southfield Library. But my main concern is mostly the roads. I see that most of the construction is being done on several major parts of, like, let's say 9 Mile. But the rest of 9 Mile is still, pretty raggedy. I want to make sure that that when we vote this year or next year or whenever the voting process starts, I want to be able to make sure that the candidates can assure that every road, major, minor, street road, commercial road, is nice and paid for the roads, because it's folks out here with brand new vehicles that's paying well over, $2,000 plus just to make sure their cars are still maintained.
And we're here in the Southfield City Chamber with one of the candidates for City Council, and her name is Lenny Taylor. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful, wonderful.
Well, the election results are pouring in, and things are looking pretty well for you. So far, yes. I think you're in first place
First place
so
so far, yes.
All right.
Yes, very excited.
Give me a little background on what it was like running. We know there's a lot of work involved in terms of organizing a campaign. Absolutely. Give me what it was like this time around.
Absolutely. It was a lot of hard work. I started a year ago in November. Once I decided, of course, you talk to family and friends first, because it's not just my campaign, it's all. Everyone in your family is a. I had to call on everyone. And we worked very hard. We put our strategies together. We came up with everything that we needed, and then we took our plan and made it work.
Now, you served on council before. Now, what was it like, and how have you changed from how you were before into what you've evolved into as a candidate now?
Growth and maturity. I prepared myself. It's like anything else. You have to, practice, practice, practice is what people say. Very good at, you continue to practice. You're going to bump your head a few times, but you get back up. You don't let that stop you. That just makes you stronger. I prepared myself in various ways. I was on council. I was appointed unanimously 2009 and served till 2011. And then I made a run for council, and I missed by a small margin, about 200 or so votes. That didn't stop me. That just gave me more of an encouragement to continue to try. So I continued. I reviewed myself and said, now, what could I do to improve where I'm at? What would help me to grow and be a better council person? And that's when I started joining various boards and commissions and learning how the city operates and the operations and how people work together on different matters. And then the flow of how to get things done in the city. What you need to do, who you need contact, and listening to the residents, making sure that the residents' voices are heard, making sure that they know that you hear them. I think what they really need, and what they've said to me, is that we need people to hear me. And when you listen to what the residents say, because I am a resident, I've been here for more than 30 years, 4 children raised and put them through the Southfield Public Schools. So this is home. I work here. I work at Federal Mogul. I've been there for over 8 years. And so Southfield is very important to me. So when I talk to the residents, we're talking about the same things. I understand when they say something to me, I take it to heart because I'm dealing with the same things. curb appeals. Southfield has a lot of codes and ordinances that we have to follow and implement. When we have new neighbors coming in and various things like that, we have to make sure that they understand what those codes and ordinances means and then help them to follow those things. So it's just a lot of fun. I love to talk, I love people, and I love the city of Southfield.
Well, we definitely love hearing you talk.
Yes.
Now, this was a pretty long and involved campaign. Kind of give us one standout moment from your campaign that really resonated with you and that really reaffirmed that, you know what, I'm doing what I should be doing.
Well, there were several, so it's hard for me to say one, but one that I can particularly remember, hearing the residents ask about the morale of the workers here in the city of Southfield. As a council person, I should be approachable not just by the residents, but by the people that work here, because I also work for them. And it was a little disheartening to hear that they had a lot of morale issues, and I said, well, how can I work to improve that so that when they're working for our residents, when they're serving, that they're comfortable and happy and is genuine. And I began to work closer with a lot of the employees of the city. I've learned who they are. I speak to them by name, which means a lot, not just to them, but to me. And I respect their jobs, and I respect what they do, and I let them know that. And I'm building that rapport so that they will know that they have someone that will listen to them and that they can come to and talk to, not just our residents, but also our employees, because that means a lot to me. As a council person, that's a council person for the city. Residents and employees have outstanding fire, outstanding police, second to none. People all over the state are contacting our firemen, our police for ways to get things done. Honor them and respect that and make sure that they have not just the equipment, but all of the tools, the employees. Top notch, number one. That's the service that's given to us.
Lovely. Now, if trends continue and you're fortunate enough to be elected to Southfield City Council, what type of a councilwoman residents expect to see directly?
Well, I'm the same 24/7, so they will see integrity. Love to talk, love to listen, but always keep and put the residents first. I'm approachable. I'm reachable, I'm approachable, and if you call me, I call you back. I may not do it in 5 minutes, but it will be very shortly. So I want them to know that I'm a human being, that the human side of me is here. I'm just like you, we're the same, nothing else. So I want that to remain. I want people to know, hey, hi. It was very thrilling for me when I'm going through in and around the city of Southfield to hear people yell out, hey, tailor-made, because that was our slogan this year. And I was very honored to be able to say that's what I mean, tailor-made. And that was honestly a very nice thing to hear. And so a lot of residents come by and that's what they say to me, hey, Lenny, tailor-made. And that was
Well, certainly, if the trend continues, I guess we'll give you an early congratulations.
Well, thank you.
And best wishes on your upcoming tenure on council.
Thank you so much. And in closing, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that voted for me. Thank you for your support, and know that I will be your council person, so you can reach out to me at any time. I personally gave people, when I contacted over 1,400 residents personally, I gave them my cell phone number so that they could call me and talk to me. So I thank you for that. Thank you very much.
We're live here in City Council Chamber awaiting the final results of the Southfield General Election 2017. We've got much, much more in terms of interviews and profiles and perspectives on the way, so you stay tuned.
The most recent election afforded residents the opportunity to have their voice heard through their participation in the voting process. Southfield Multimedia Services recently conducted Word on the Street interviews to tap into the pulse of what area voters are feeling regarding pressing issues in the community.
It's very important because a lot of people fought for the right to vote, and it's important because we need to make our voices heard. And so my thing is that if you don't vote, then you have no right to complain about what the government is doing. If you want to change, you have to vote. Well, I would like to see definitely some changes in the tax law, in property taxes, and also moving forward, I would like to see the programs, after-school programs for our kids, and then also I love what they did to downtown Southfield. It's very beautiful, great job. Kudos to all of those people who made it possible for our beautiful city of Southfield.
Concerned about oil drilling around the Word of Faith, okay, and the impact it's going to have on my community, which is it's a few miles away still, but if it affects a few of us, it affects most of us, or all of us. So, I don't think that's going to be on the ballot today, but yeah, I think that's one of my biggest concerns right now. I'm also concerned about schools. I want to make sure schools get good funding and take care of our kids, even though I don't have kids.
Construction and capital improvement projects was definitely an issue that was at the forefront of many of the campaigns during the election season here at Southfield, and the Southfield capital improvement and road construction projects continue at a very fast and torrid pace. Let's check out some updates that are happening around town.
Southfield capital improvement and road construction projects continue at a fast pace and is punctuated by the recent opening of the Franklin Road Roundabout. City engineer Leah Schultz keeps us informed with her latest round of road improvement updates and tips on how to navigate roundabouts.
So just recently we've got the roundabout open and fully functioning right at Franklin and 11 Mile intersection. Obviously the rest of the road still under construction, still a lot of barrels out. We're still closed down at Franklin at Telegraph. The contractor expects to have everything wrapped up and open to traffic before Thanksgiving. I think the drivers in Southfield are getting accustomed to it. So our evergreen roundabouts see a lot of traffic day in and day out. So people are getting more comfortable understanding where they need to be. I try and remind people that maybe don't travel them too often. As you're approaching, slow down. Pay attention to the lane designation signs and pavement markings so that you understand what lane you're supposed to be in if you're coming up 2 lanes to the roundabout. So you know what lane to be in depending on what your destination is. And important things, don't stop inside the roundabout. When the drivers approach the roundabout, they have to yield to the traffic inside. So when you're inside, proceed in your proper lane. Don't change lanes inside the roundabout and exit for the road for your destination. We've got our 10-mile road the city has had closed down between Southfield and Greenfield, closed to through traffic for sewer, water main work, and then some of the resultant pavement repairs we needed to do. So that just recently opened up, and that's going to be a big relief for all the east-west traffic drive-in through that part of the city. Our Evergreen, what we were calling our North Evergreen project this year between 11 and 13, is substantially complete, meaning all the main work is done. There's punch list items, so you still might see contractors out there here and there, some landscaping going on. But for the most part, that project's done. It looks great. It's very nice to have a new pavement surface on that stretch of Evergreen. And our South Evergreen project this year between 9 Mile and 10 Mile is making great progress. They expect to have that road opened up in early November, so just a few more weeks.
To stay updated on various capital improvement projects, visit cityofsouthfield.com.
Well, it's important that issues are brought up and that people make decisions on what's right and what's wrong based on community efforts. This is a democracy. It's for the people, of the people, by the people. So how are we supposed to determine what laws govern us if we don't decide together? And by voting, that helps us to put those issues that we feel are important and pertinent to go through. I like Southfield. I've lived in Southfield before. It's a very good community. I like to keep up your educational outlooks, improvement in the community, community outreach. As a whole, the government's pretty good. The police force is very, very good too as well. So I'm pleased with Southfield.
Well, I think it's all your responsibility to vote. I wasn't as knowledgeable about who I was voting for. Pretty knowledgeable because I read the paper and see the pictures and stuff like that. So if I knew who I was voting for every position, it would have taken me 3 seconds. I had most of them picked out and I made a decision on a couple others. I think it's a pretty good city, and I don't know about improving, but we've got good representation in the city council and the treasurer and everybody here. And City Hall is very well run, so my compliments to Southfield.
Welcome back to the Southfield Multimedia Services production of the 2017 Southfield General Election. And to my left is the elder statesman here in the city of Southfield, the Honorable Donald Fracassi. Good to see you again, sir.
Nice being here. It's kind of a special night. Always exciting. It's always exciting. And to see the faces of those who have won, and then you have to look at those who lost. And it's a lot of work to run for office, and I give them all credit for running. And it's too bad there has to be winners and losers. But the city has to operate and function. And I think that you've seen the incumbents get reelected tonight, which is good. It gives a lot of credit to the city and the jobs they've done. And I think it keeps the city on top of things. The transition is going to be good.
Indeed. Now, you've got a lot of experience running for office. Just give us a bird's eye view, very briefly, of what it's like to sort of organize a campaign, really resonate with the residents and voters here in the city.
Well, it's over the years, it changes because you go back to the beginning. We were basically all farms, and all the kids went to the same school, and you knew everybody in the city, and then you start getting newcomers come into the city, and then you have to kind of change your tactics and get to know them and keep the doors open, which I like to always do. Is when I was mayor, had an open door policy, and you get to know a lot of people, and they get to know you. And but at the same time, it's still it's trying to strategize what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. It's always an expense that you also have to monitor. And as cost of mailing keeps going up, it gets more difficult to run, and for a newcomer to come aboard, there ought to be some way which funds could be spread out to help candidates, I guess, other than them seeking funds from other people. But what is. I think what really hurt, though, this time around, it's the first one that we've had no primary. And I thought that missing a primary, when people get an opportunity to get their signs out, get talking to people, strategizing with things, and having, like League of Women Voters, having meetings so people could get more accustomed to who's running, because mailing is being cut back more than ever now. And I don't think, working at the poll today, I didn't see a lot of people even know that there was an election. And I think when you had the primary, it kind of warmed you up to something that's going to happen big.
Got you in the mindset.
Yeah, here comes the big show. And I think I haven't seen what the vote count was, how many, kind of looking at it and seeing how much the primary paid to that. I think having a council put back the incumbents has been a good thing. And of course now we have the mayor, treasurer, we have a new clerk. That's going to be something new for us. All these years that Nancy has served the community and to see different style. But you have to deal with it. Council still runs the city, and I think that having a strong council is very important.
Now, you have nearly 50 years in elected office here in the city of Southfield.
No, that was my grandfather that was back there.
Really?
I tell everybody that. No, I haven't been around that long. I said, that was my grandfather. I just took his name.
Well, but you're getting there. You're getting there. Tell us, what words of wisdom and advice would you give to not only the incumbents coming back in elected office here, but also new officials such as the clerk?
Yeah.
What advice would you have for them in serving the constituency and the residents of Southfield?
Well, I think that when I came aboard, we had Mr. Flannery, who was well known on the township days. It was a smooth transition. The mayors were very close because the city was, in comparison to now, very small. And farms and everybody knew everybody. But I think the most important thing is I was a young guy coming aboard, and back then, the council people were, to me, very mature. And when I opened my mouth as a young new kid, I remember it was a water ordinance I wrote, and I tried to get it passed. And when I presented it, I got a kick in the shins, and he said, hey, unless you read the charter and the zoning book, don't open your mouth. In other words, learn the business, learn the rules, and then we can kind of hear you out.
Have the roles reversed for you?
Now, today, you don't kick anybody in the shins, that's for sure. But the other was the camaraderie, how close we were, which has changed a lot. We used to have debates. We used to disagree with each other, but we'd go out afterwards and have a pizza and talk about what happened and make up, so to speak, and be ready to go. We used to meet twice a week, every Monday and Thursday, and once a Saturday a month. And actually, that's how we built the city, is because at those meetings where everybody that had to do with that development, meaning your building department, your engineers, and everybody sat in and everybody knew what everything was happening and what the cost was going to be, but the communications was greater. When you are sporadic with your meetings, people are trying to catch on, what's your committee doing, or what's your committee doing? We didn't have committees like that. Everybody was a committee. And because you had more meetings, you could do it that way. But when you don't have the one big meeting where everybody sits down and goes over that agenda, it doesn't come out that way. It's now a legislative committee, a homeowners committee, all this stuff, but there's no way to communicate what happened at that meeting. How can you take that meeting and hear the idea of that somebody else would give you as they perceive what happened at that meeting and make it better? The more people that are involved in something, the better it gets. You don't have to take everything that is said, but when everything is screened, the outcome is better. And so I think things have changed quite a bit from just the amount of effort and time that's put into it. I'm sure that everybody that serves today is putting in maximum amount of time as they see it. I guess what is different is that when you've gone through and built a city when from the shovel to the ribbon cutting, you were a part of. And you knew how to improve the next one that you did because you made a mistake here. And not only that, but when it was completed, it was a celebration because it was something new, just like when the town center was built. You know, there's 35 stories. Somebody come in and said, I want to build a 35-story on this farm land. You say you're crazy, you know, but we accepted it. It was the first high-rise ever in the suburbs. But it was accomplished because everybody was tuned in to the requests, to the comments that were made, and the pros and cons and everything else, and made a decision, and then followed it all the way to completion. And so I kind of miss that. It's like a piece of art. You do part of it, you know, and you leave off the frame, or you leave off the little guy that was standing here. You know, he doesn't count. You know,
right,
this kind of thing. But the city is well run, and I give everybody effort, staff people, all those. I know that we've had turned down the economy, and everybody had to do more with less. And we're still producing a good product. Yeah.
Well, it's been so nice chopping it up with you, getting a bird's eye view and a behind-the-scenes perspective as far as Southfield leadership goes.
Yeah.
So we're here with Donald Fracassi and the Southfield Chambers as the final results are coming in for the Southfield General Election 2017. We've got more in the way, so you stay tuned. One of the top news stories from this year was the Michigan Works Career Center move to the campus of Lawrence Tech University. Check out this recap of its grand open ribbon cutting.
2, 1,
Michigan Works Career Center, the area's premier career guidance agency, has moved from its previous Indian Street location to Southfield City Center, in the middle of Lawrence Technological University's administrative sector. The move represents a collaboration between Lawrence Tech, Oakland County, and the city of Southfield to help the metro area's unemployed and underemployed find jobs, skills, and new ways to become entrepreneurs.
As far as we know, this Michigan Works location is one of the only American job centers in the nation to be located on a university campus. So when the city and Lawrence Technological University first approached us about engaging in this collaboration and putting the LTU Collaboratory and Oakland County Michigan Works in one location, we thought it was a brilliant idea.
With the move comes heightened expectations as business leaders hope it serves as a catalyst for a prosperous community by connecting job seekers with employment opportunities.
For our community to be prosper and be healthy, you need people to have good employment. And our collective initiative is to seek that goal, that people who live here or work here or come in this area have opportunity to have a good life through their employment.
Michigan Career Works leadership feel that relocating within the city's business hub will help expedite the allocation of talent and support to local businesses and corporations.
Well, Southfield is a great example of economic development and business and community at its finest. We really try to locate Michigan Works locations in the hub of where people need the most support, but also where do the businesses need their talent. And so this is an ideal location for, again, this collaboration between LTU and the City of Southfield and Oakland County Michigan Works.
The grand opening of the Michigan Works Career Center is the first of a multifaceted initiative, with the next step being to assist entrepreneurs in growing their businesses.
There's another piece coming to our collaborative efforts with LTU and part of the Smart Zone Centropolis, and that includes a business accelerator. And the sister piece of this will be just to the other side of this building, and that'll be that business incubator, business accelerator.
Which means we can now have an idea of a small company, a company that may be starting in a garage, put them into a situation where they can grow and have even multiple employees. So this is a win-win for all, for the city, for the county, for the university.
To learn more about the Southfield Michigan Works Career Center and its services and resources, call area code 796-4580 or visit michiganworks.org. The most recent election afforded residents the opportunity to have their voice heard through their participation in the voting process. Southfield Multimedia Services recently conducted word on the street interviews to tap into the pulse of what area voters are feeling regarding pressing issues in the community.
Because if you don't get out and vote, you're going to end up letting somebody else make decisions for you. Locally, I'm delighted with what's been going on around here with both the mayor and the council. We've got terrific amounts of progress being made despite lack of funding from anybody besides ourselves. Oh, I think that what's going on with the Northland project, no matter how it turns out, has been really thoroughly researched, and everybody's doing a really great job at just looking at what we should be doing next, not just throwing some money at a project to get something in there. And I think that's being done throughout the city. We have especially the renovation of our roads. That's another place where Southfield's been pretty lonely. We're getting a little bit of help, but Southfield is doing it on its own hook, and that's pretty remarkable. That means the citizens themselves are ponying up money willingly to make this happen.
Chris Campbell, and we are here in the Southfield City Hall chamber and getting the election results. We will be presenting you the final tally very shortly, but to my left is Councilman Michael Mandelbaum. And we just got final results in, and he came in second place in the Southfield general election for City Council. And we first of all want to say congratulations to you and your campaign.
Thank you very much.
And kind of give us an idea of what it's like to put together this campaign and organize it in a way that resonates with people. We know that there are a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. Kind of break that down, how it was for you.
Well, it started back when I was first appointed to council. I wanted to make sure that I did right for the people, and I made myself available, and I had the city's best interests in mind. Things really picked up closer to February, March, where I started circulating petitions, getting the signatures to be on the ballot. And then once I had those signatures, then the real fun started. You know, talking to people, knocking doors, raising money, flyers, you name it, I was there. Trying to reach every Southfield voter, which is very tricky in a city our size.
Yes. Very much so. Now, you represent a new breed or new generation of Southfield elected officials, Southfield leadership. How is that dynamic, or will that dynamic be at play on City Council as you deliberate over various issues, happenings, and concerns that are going on in the city?
I think the new dynamic will be very helpful. I'm the youngest council person, the millennial on the council, and I think that I'm going to work to introduce more technology to try and get the city to run a little bit smoother to what millennials want to help the city be more efficient and save money at the same time. But I also think I can give that unique perspective. I have a growing family, so I know what my kids want within the city. I know what my parents who are seniors want within the city. So I have a good grasp on everything, not from experience, but what I'm currently going through. But looking also towards the future of the city and making sure that we can be sustainable and continue to grow our Southfield community.
Now let's talk about leadership style. What type of leadership style can constituents and city residents expect to see and hear from you when they tune into council meetings or when they interact with you in the public space?
So there's two different things. In the council meetings, you'll know that I'm always prepared. I always read the package, the agenda, even the word-for-word planning commission minutes when there's new development, because I want to make sure that I'm making the right decision for the residents of the city, for the businesses, and for the city at large, again, to prosper going forward, not just in the moment. On the street, I'm always accessible to residents. I give out my phone number. It's on my business card. It was on all my literature. I have no problem giving it out now. 248-989-5955. 905-1095. But I'm available to the residents, and I listen to their concerns. While I may not be able to find a suitable solution, they'll know that I've exhausted all my options.
Now, answer me this. You have been a council person that has shown an intellectual curiosity. A trademark of yours is to ask a lot of questions during council proceedings, council sessions, various meetings. Why is it so important to have that intellectual curiosity as a city leader?
So for me, when we have our city council meetings, we're given the information only a few days before our meetings. We don't have a lot of time to research and do a lot of that that other cities or other staff members in the city have had, the months of preparation. We're given, maybe 72 hours in some cases. So I want to ask the questions that I'm unable to find answers to, so I can make an informed decision and make sure there's nothing that I'm missing.
Now, for your supporters and for those that are very familiar with you in the community, and maybe for those that are not familiar with you, what words would you like to say to them after your council win tonight?
Well, for those who did support me and voted for me and everything else, thank you very much. You won't be disappointed. But also for those that did not vote for me, you had your favorites, whatever it is, you won't be disappointed. I will be available. I'll be accessible. I'll be here to help you when the need comes.
Well, we are here with newly elected Southfield City Councilman Michael Mandelbaum. As the results are coming in for the Southfield general election, we'll be back on the other side with the final tally, the final results for all of the elected officials part of this election tonight. My name is Chris Campbell, and I am from 15 News Extra. We'll be back in just a minute. Michigan Works Career Center, which has recently relocated to the campus of Lawrence Technological University, has been set up and is designed to link employment opportunities with jobs. Check out a recent recap of one of their programs.
The Michigan Works Career Center, newly relocated to Lawrence Tech University, continues to be a useful community resource that enables job seekers to find gainful employment. This past week's workshop focused on job search strategies.
Today we're having our job search workshop, which we hold weekly at the Career Center. There's a lot of folks in different programs. Some of them are profilers that have to re-register to show that they're actually doing their job search in order to continue receiving their unemployment benefits. And so we're going to talk about some of the best strategies for doing a good and efficient job search.
With any endeavor, there are do's and don'ts. Here are some do's and don'ts when job searching.
Well, the biggest don't is to search old news. And old news is jobs that are posted. Employers hate posting jobs. Sometimes they're required. We work for the city. We're required to post jobs, I do believe, from our city charter. And we also post jobs at the city. Insider, I facetiously call it insider trading, but it's just part of the union contracts that jobs get posted internally. But that happens at all jobs. Those jobs that are available, people know about inside before they ever get to the public. We call that the hidden job market. And the reality is only about 15% of jobs that are out there and are available ever get posted. 85% of jobs never get posted. They get filled from within, or they get filled by other sources. And so if you spend your time searching in that 15% pool, you're going to be extremely unfruitful. 90% of everybody that's unemployed concentrates on the posted job market, which is only representing about 15% of the jobs, making them extremely competitive. That gives HR people, HR professionals, a wonderful, rich pool to draw from, and they're going to skim the cream of the crop, leaving people like me, which I'm far from perfect, at the bottom of the ladder, and so my job search is going to be much longer. So if I spend my time only searching there, rather than searching the hidden job market, well, they're really not hidden jobs, they're just jobs that aren't posted, then I'm going to be up against immeasurable odds, in my opinion. Whereas if I spend my time doing the networking, which is required to find employment, I'm going to be first of all, less competitive. I'm going to have fewer people competing against me. And second of all, they're usually better jobs. Good jobs never get posted because people are beating the door down trying to get to it. But the jobs that end up getting posted many times are not as high quality. So spending your time there and that being only what you do, like I said earlier, 90% of people, that's how they do their job search. Extremely unfruitful.
Job seeking in the 21st century is very much a matter of marketing and branding oneself, and Career Center staff feels that their programs will help job seekers do just that.
Well, the key thing that I stress from the very beginning is what is it you want to convey about yourself to a potential employer? We call that branding. So we approach job search from a marketing perspective. I'm going to teach the 5 steps of a sale that I learned years ago in the Dale Carnegie sales course. And I'm going to talk about branding, things like Nike or Coke and Pepsi, and the image that they are pushing so that we as consumers will think of certain images when we're looking at their product. So when someone meets you, as a potential employee, what are the things that you want to convey to them? What is the image you're leaving behind? And then we're going to talk about using marketing techniques where we're going to have many touches where you're reaching out to an employer, trying to separate yourself from the herd. So key, first of all, is marketing and branding. And secondly, from a perspective of one of the programs that I work in, I want to have people be able to talk about themselves comfortably. How do you sound when you're on the phone? How do you sound when people meet you? If you're uncomfortable talking about yourself, which most of us are, I happen to be gifted with extroversion, so that helps me. But what do I say in those situations where I'm meeting an employer? Am I comfortable saying it? And can I put those things we learned as a child not to brag about myself on a shelf, because I've got to brag about myself. I've got to say what I can do for somebody and the value that I can bring. And if I'm uncomfortable with those things, then I'm going to have a hard time interviewing. So I want to convey to people they need to be able to develop a nice elevator speech so they can meet somebody, shake their hand, and when they open their mouth, they say something of value that they're going to add to an employer rather than just run off at the mouth because you're nervous.
If area job seekers need more specialized employment training, Michigan Works Career Center staff give one-on-one sessions to further cultivate job search skills.
People have the opportunity to take these workshops and sign up for some one-on-one assistance, which is the best thing, best innovation that we've had in the last few years. And through that, we've been able to do a little bit of side-by-side coaching with people that are doing their job search. So I think overall, our one-stop center ideal, which we have through the Oakland County Michigan Works, provides people, I think, one of their best tools for doing their job search and doing their career planning.
To learn more about various classes and programs offered by the Michigan Works Career Center, visit michiganworks.org. The most recent election afforded residents the opportunity to have their voice heard through their participation in the voting process. Southfield Multimedia Services recently conducted word-on-the-street interviews to tap into the pulse of what area voters are feeling regarding pressing issues in the community.
Well, you know, I take it very seriously. I've voted in every election since we've lived here, and I care about the Southfield government. And I've seen a lot of changes since we've lived here, and it's all for the better. Well, you know, when we first arrived here, our neighborhood has changed several times. You know, the kids that grew up with my daughter, you know, those folks moved on, and we're getting a new demographic, people with kids. And so even though we don't have kids in school, I think we should try to maintain that excellence in the Southfield schools that we experience. With the changing demographics, I would imagine that they made a decision based on the number of students, and so I agree with that. The new school over on Lassa, Southfield High School, I pass it almost every day, and I know some folks with kids in that school, and they're very satisfied. I did. We had one daughter that went to Southfield schools, and she graduated from Lathrop in 2000, and it prepared her very well. We're very proud of her, what she's accomplished after going to the public school. The roads, I did not vote for the millage for the roads, but I've changed on that. It's been very good, I think, because I've seen some improvements in roads, and there are a couple that 11 mile between Bell and Lassa, I think, needs some work. I live over in that neighborhood, and it wears and tears on your vehicle, so I think that millage was a good idea, and I support it.
The election is very important, of course. You know, we want to exercise our right to vote and to have a voice within the city or wherever you live. So yes, I did. I went early this morning and made my decisions and cast my ballot. And interestingly, it wasn't that crowded. I'm hoping that people will really get out and feel the need to, again, you know, share their opinions and voice their candidates. Very happy with what I see happening here in the city of Southfield and the initiatives that are taking place, new groundbreaking that's happening, and all the things that Mayor Seibert has taken upon himself to initiate. I'm really very happy, and I think, again, he and the City Council work very well together to really promote the city, embrace it, and encourage people to be here.
A popular staple of the fall season is the Taste of Southfield presented by the City of Southfield in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce. The event is designed to show a spotlight and profile the culinary landscape in the city. The event featured many restaurants that are new and established to the City of Southfield. Check out this recap. A major staple of the fall season recently made its return to the city as the Chamber of Commerce presented the 14th Annual Taste of Southfield inside the Town Center atrium. The event featured many restaurants that are new to the culinary landscape of the city.
For the second year in a row, we're doing our Edible Creations competition. It was a big hit last year, so this year we've decided to make it kind of a center of attention. We've got 4 restaurants who are competing to see who can make the best salad with the special ingredient of a sweet potato. So we'll see who will be 2017 Edible Creations competition winner.
For the second year, the event featured the Edible Creations competition, which is modeled after the popular Food Network show Chopped. The competition challenged contestants to create a dish using an assigned ingredient which would be graded by a panel of local celebrity judges.
You can always learn about the events that we have going on in our community at our website, southfieldchamber.com, or our Facebook page. We post regularly about events such as this. So our 15th annual, of course, will be next year, so it'll be an important event and very exciting. So just keep an eye on our website or like us on Facebook at Southfield Chamber.
There were a plethora of activities at the Taste of Southfield, including photo booth, dancing, free massages by an area masseuse, in addition to the food sampling. For participants, the value of being involved with the Taste Fest is invaluable, which explains why they come back every year.
We are participating probably for the 5th year here to help along with the Chamber of Commerce, and it's just a great venue. The first year I was a little hesitant. I had to force myself and make the time for it, and once I saw what was taking place over here, we were committed to it. It's just a great venue, great atmosphere, and just a good way to get customers.
We're out here because we want to let our community know that we are here and we're in the area. You could stop in. There is a way to reach us. So it's just, you know, a way for us to get out there.
We're here for a couple reasons. We're here to let everybody know that we're much more than a pizza place. We've got everything from salads, we've got subs, we've got burgers, we've got desserts. We're really a complete, almost restaurant, but carry out. We've got an extensive catering menu. We deliver catering free of charge. We set up discount programs for hospitals and businesses where employees can use a discount card to get a discount along with free delivery at most locations. I think the main reason that's important is our food speaks for itself. I think everybody's heard of Happy's. Maybe not everybody has been to Happy's, but the ones that have, it becomes word of mouth. and the people that are here that are trying our food, such as our rib tips today that we did, which usually it's always pizza, but today we did rib tips, we did our wedges. We also did, which we're famous for, our wings. Nobody could touch us on our wings. And people that are having them are just passing the word around and telling everybody else. So the exposure here is great, especially for our 2 locations in Southfield, on Telegraph and Lathrop Village.
It gets the community together, and it lets everybody see what we have to offer out here in Southfield with all the different restaurants and different venues. And plus it's a nice chance to, like I said, network and meet with people.
For local food lovers, the Taste of Southfield continues to impress as it grows in relevance and scope every year.
I think it's fabulous. It's just a way of letting everybody in Southfield and the public as well know about the different vendors and events, and from food to business to everything. It's just a great culture for Southfield.
To learn more about the Taste of Southfield or any other event presented by the Southfield Area Chamber of Commerce, visit southfieldchamber.com.
The results are in, and they are as follows for the Southfield general election. For mayor, Ken Siver, who ran unopposed, won that by a 95% vote. For city clerk, Sharika Hawkins won with 56.6% of the vote to Tarita Darden, who came in second place with 25.4% of the vote. For the race for city treasurer, that was unopposed. Irv Lowenberg won that by 96% percentile. And then when it came to city council, a hotly contested race, but in the race for city council, Lenny Taylor came in first place with 7,741 votes, which tallied up to a 19.23% of the vote. In second place was Michael Mandelbaum with 6,832 votes, or 16.9 percentile. And then in third place is Lloyd Cruz with 6,697 votes. And in fourth place, Council President Myron Frazier with 6,673 votes, or 16.57% of the population vote. So those are the tallies and those are the figures. We have a new city clerk, and basically all the incumbents made it through for city council, city treasurer, and mayor. On behalf of Southfield Multimedia Services, my name is Chris Campbell. We thank you so much for watching our coverage of the City of Southfield General Election 2017. We say good evening, peace, and good night.